Now today, we celebrate the accomplishments of all our graduates by awarding them their hard-earned degrees. We shall begin this celebration, appropriately enough, with a student speaker. Each year at convocation, the administration chooses an outstanding student to speak on behalf of the graduating class. We look for a student who has achieved academic excellence, who has also done distinguished work in other areas of student life. This year, Cassandra Osei, a student in the school's social and behavioral sciences and epidemiology programs, has been chosen as student speaker on the basis of her outstanding work both inside and outside the classroom. A proponent of social equity, Cassandra has pursued a range of intellectual methods to study structural inequities and macrosocial determinants that influence the health of Black and African American populations in the U.S. She is currently designing an online intervention to decrease the incidence of mood disorders among Black women in Chicago. Outside of the academy, Cassandra has a passion for writing and performing spoken word poetry. She has written that she looks forward to changing the nation one day by running for political office. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present Cassandra Osei, the SPH Student Speaker for 2017. Cassandra.
So how's everyone doing this morning? No, act like you want to graduate. How's everyone doing? That's right, that's right. So thank you all so much. Dean Galea, wherever you are.
I'm right here.
There you go. Dean Cox, Pastor Liz Walker, distinguished members of the faculty, alumni, staff, students, family, friends, and of course, all of you graduating this year. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right. So I'd like to begin my speech today with a fashion that I'm most familiar, my spoken word story. And for those of you who may not know, spoken word requires a call and response pattern. I speak and you in return respond with claps, shouts, snaps, or in whatever direction the spirit moves you. But it goes like this. As I speak today, don't let this narrative miss you. So I caution your ears to not dismiss these news. I wish firsthand to remind you all that you are talented with something to offer. So don't let yourself stop towards progress. Now I'll begin with my story. What is perceived in the media that vehemently reads is, I am less than because of my complexion. As if navigating the construction of race isn't hard enough, I have to deal with colorism's interjections. But I will not allow the kinks and curls that adorn my crown, or today, the twists that subtly brush against this gown, to succumb to any insecurities by companies that cannot cater to my natural needs. So the point is, I continue to navigate a system that says this is not for you. I choose to internalize that which enhances my worth and that has made all the difference in terms of seeing my own value. See, we are so complex with so many experiences that we endure that not everyone knows or can understand what we go through. And not everyone can see what you endure just by looking at you at face value. So take, for instance, immigration. You look at me and you may not assume I'm from another nation. My English is as crisp as an American patriot, but in my home, the dialect is not one that many are familiar. As a fresh off the boat immigrant, I bet some of you folks here wouldn't even think of it. My family and I did not leave our home continent to be subject to the viciousness and deliberate discrimination and hatred based on the hue that our faces represent. But we have. So collectively, and I think we can all agree that we have different stories. And there are elements in those stories that others may not know about. It is these same elements that shape how we experience the world that surrounds us. These few experiences, such as the ones I've just referenced, are very much connected to public health because there's always another determinant we may not know is embedded in another person's story. Yet it underlies an intervention we want to do. So here are public health facts embedded in my own story. They've been cited 3 times over, quote me if you wanna, but their purpose is to prove what makes me complex and further explain what I experience. 1, despite perceived progress made over the years in what some may call a post-racial premiere, racism continues to have an impact on the mental and physical health of Black people. And based on the research, Black women will always suffer more barriers and have no equals. And further, based on my experience, mental and public health has a long way to go before they can understand the systemic complexities of a Black woman's story. Point 2, Boston and my hometown of Chicago are built and thrives on a system of ethnic, social, and racial injustice. And it's exhausting to constantly convince myself that I belong. But unlike Boston, Chicago is struggling with high rates of violence, yet the solution provided is to further militarize the police rather than to fund the people's basic needs. Which is the way in which you uplift a community, like with access to quality public education that isn't segregated, and providing mental health services that are not only found in the Cook County jail system. And yes, it's pretty awful, so consider that in your conscience as a crisis that's alive, because they are issues added to the lives and the climate of the people that are just trying to survive. But what does that have to do with me? What do I internalize from this, actually? Well, I was raised in Chicago, and I lived the results of structural injustice. With little to no public assistance, down my old block were the projects ran by the Blackstones and MC gangs on Cottage, and I saw the violence, the everyday discrimination based on the color of my skin and other isms, and that is what my family and I were up against. Okay. Point 3, misogynoir is real. But to describe it is simply this: it is where racism and sexism meets. To break it down further, it is where I am devalued by a man because of my deep complexion within my skin. It is where my liberation does not look the same across all iterations of womanhood. It is where I'm angry when I'm passionate, and when I'm angry, I'm sassy and animal. It is when I'm a strong, independent Black woman who don't need no man because I'm icy and impenetrable. When in fact, I'm hiding the inevitable, that I'm coping with what no one seems to understand: trauma. Now, I just laid out 3 determinants that outline my experiences, and they are all a part of what makes my story multifaceted. Now, this is not a woe is me plea, because I'm not seeking pity, for I am navigating respective spaces with my peace. This, on the contrary, is a public service announcement for all of you SPH graduates that are ready to make an impact. Let this narrative be an example of things for you to tackle. Now, in public health, you are intersecting into the lives of populations with quantitative assumptions that may ignorantly mislabel communities, positively provide interventions that receive aid, or possibly contribute to the displacement of those who've already lost everything but their dignity. So maneuver wisely. And don't be surprised by the misfortune that crosses thy path, but be humbled by experiences you lack and take it as an opportunity for growth firsthand. The great Maya Angelou said, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." Yes. So today, let those words simmer as you leave here and lead extraordinary lives. Fulfill your calling as public health professionals, but do not forget where you come from. Leave here not with regrets or hardened hearts. Be suave and confident in your privilege that you've just added to your repertoire. However, please use your privilege for honor in the fight to disband systemic racism, patriarchal oppression, alternative facts, and our country's misdirection. But remember to do so by allowing the communities that you serve to lead. For it is not only their lives you are changing, but yours as well, and daily. However, before you go on to fight this good fight, enjoy this day. It is your day. So I'll end with this. Congratulations to the awesome class of 2017. You've made it. Congratulations to all of the family and friends here celebrating this joyous occasion. May you all be blessed and highly favored on your walks to success. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you for those remarks. They're truly remarkable and memorable. And thank you for everything you've done during your time with us.